She was supposed to walk down the aisle in a white silk gown, framed by candlelight, church bells, and the quiet promise of forever. Instead, she walked into a mystery so dark that half a century later, people still refuse to speak her name after sundown. This is the story of the bride who vanished before her wedding, and why some believe she never left at all. Her name was Evelyn Moore, a quiet, perceptive woman born in a small Midwestern town where everyone claimed to know everyone else, but no one truly knew her. She wasn't shy, just distant, always watching rather than engaging, absorbing rather than reacting. People often said she behaved like someone who was passing through life, not building one. A person preparing for something inevitable or something inescapable. Her fiancé, Daniel Carter, didn't see it as a red flag. He loved her independence. Where others saw mystery, he saw depth. Where others sensed fear, he sensed strength. And yet, even he admitted something he never shared with friends until much later. It always felt like she was on a countdown. Strange habits before the wedding, months before the ceremony, Evelyn began avoiding mirrors. Not casually, aggressively. She threw a towel over the bathroom mirror, turned picture frames around, even asked Daniel to remove the glass from photo frames entirely. She claimed reflections lie, and when pressed, she simply said, "You only have to see it once to understand." Around the same time, Evelyn began waking up at exactly 1:47 a.m. every night, eyes open, breathing fast as if someone had called her name mid-dream. She never spoke about it, but Daniel started noticing she wrote something in a small notebook every time it happened. He once glanced at a page and saw nothing but repeated dates and single-word entries, some crossed out violently. July 29th, Chapel, August 2nd, Witness, August 6th, Reflection, August 9th, Exchange. She tore that page out when she realized he'd seen it. The night terrors. Her final week was when everything snapped. She woke up screaming so loudly that neighbors knocked on the door, thinking she was being attacked. Daniel held her, asking what she saw, and she whispered, "The aisle wasn't meant for two." She refused to elaborate, but she didn't sleep again for 2 nights. She stayed awake with every light on, positioned facing the bedroom door, clutching her chest like she expected something to crawl out of her instead of into the room. The final warning, the night before the wedding. She gave Daniel a handwritten envelope, sealed in red wax, and forced him to swear not to open it unless she failed to show up at the ceremony. Daniel asked, half-jokingly, if she planned on getting cold feet. She didn't laugh. She didn't smile. She didn't blink. She said only, "If I'm not there, it means they kept their part. And I had to keep mine." Those were her last spoken words. Wedding day, chapel full, rain clouds rolling in. Pianist repeating the same soft progression. Bridesmaids pacing the hallway. Daniel sweating through his suit. 15 minutes. 30 minutes. 47 minutes. Finally, the priest said, "She may need help. We should search. Her dress, veil, shoes, bouquet, purse, and makeup were untouched, perfectly arranged in her dressing room. No window was open, no door was forced, no footprint, no slip, no fibers, no scent trail, no tire marks. She didn't leave the place. She simply wasn't there anymore." Someone later described it best. It looked like she vanished between one breath and the next. Police investigated aggressively for 18 days. Family interrogated. Fiancé polygraphed. Grounds searched. Drains checked, forest combed the lake, dragged rail and bus stations monitored. Not even rumors surfaced. Then, on day 19, Daniel finally opened the envelope. They don't want the wedding. They want the bride. That single note burned the case into folklore instead of file work. 10 years later, new discovery. The chapel eventually closed. Time, weather, and vandalism chewed through its walls until it was condemned. Before demolition, a 3-man crew was assigned to remove salvageable wood. During the inspection, they found fresh carvings on the hidden backside of the altar, meaning it was carved after the disappearance. He didn't keep the promise. At first, authorities assumed Daniel wrote it, but handwriting analysis suggested it matched Evelyn's early journals, not Daniel's. Then, the crew noticed something stranger underneath that sentence. There were traces of an erased first word, barely visible under the wood splinters. "I didn't keep the promise." She wrote one version, then changed it. That means she returned to the chapel. But how? And from where? A retired groundskeeper later admitted he lied to police in 1976. He saw someone entering the chapel the night before demolition. Not a ghost, not floating, not glowing. A physical figure in a dirty, torn wedding dress, walking normally. When he shouted, "Who's there?" the figure stopped, tilted its head, and exhaled loudly, as if exhausted from years of running. He fled and never returned. A local historian later connected Evelyn's mirror fear to old folklore. Some cultures believe weddings require an exchange between the living and the unseen. In some variations, one bride, if a reflection claims you, you owe it your place. Remember her phrasing. Marriage is not always a union. Sometimes it's a trade. The notebook entries, the mirror removal, the 1:47 a.m. wake-ups, the final note, the carved message. It forms a chilling possibility. Evelyn didn't flee or die. She fulfilled a contract. Maybe she didn't vanish from the chapel. She vanished into it. Right before demolition, one worker recorded inside the chapel to document structural damage. The recording captured 3 faint piano notes, repeating rhythmically, exchange, exchange, exchange. On the 4th repetition, there was a woman's slow breathing, then audio distortion. The recording cuts before any voice is heard, though some claim hearing fabric dragging in the background. If mysteries like this should be remembered instead of buried, stay here, because I don't chase jump scares. I chase what doesn't add up. Subscribe if you like what you are listening. Some disappearances end with answers. Some end with memorials. This one ends with a question. What if she never left the chapel at all? Just changed places with the wrong reflection. Because not every bride becomes a wife.